What is up, guys? It's Weira, and we are doing a quick reading log video today. I'm gonna set it up a little bit different. I'm gonna start off with the manga that I read the least amount, and then go into what I read the most about, I guess. This is sort of like a May/June reading log, and then July's reading log is going to be at like a June/July, if that makes any sense. It's just the way, this is just what works for me right now, but hopefully it makes sense. Anyways, so let's start off with the first series that I have not read a lot of yet, but I still wanted to include it in here. I'll probably go a little bit more into it next month, depending if I can decide to continue with it or not. But that is Gin to Kin, which is a manga by Nobuyuki Fukumoto, the creator of Kaiju and Akagi. So Gin to Kin is a little bit more, it's a little bit more on the mature side, I would say, because it goes into details on how they kind of manipulate the stock market, for example. But it's essentially this guy who kind of finds himself out of work and is looking for money, and he runs into this man who's like this guy who just knows how to scam people and knows how to do all these backdoor stuff for getting money, right? In the beginning, it kind of goes into him how he's like lending people money with like these high interest rates and stuff, but they actually go into detail on how he actually makes money that way. And it's pretty interesting. But I mean, if you're not into that type of stuff, I'm really into that type of stuff, but if that's not for you, then it probably is not going to be a great read, which is why I call it on the mature side. But I think I honestly love that. It's so sick. Like, I hate reading stuff with like too much explanation and stuff, but when it comes to real world stuff, I really enjoy that. Like right now, the part that I'm at, he's kind of describing the way they use this one company to make money off of stocks, basically, and the manipulation of stocks. And it's pretty interesting. What makes it a somewhat interesting story, I don't think it's as strong as, say, like Kaiji or Akagi, but what makes it interesting is, the main character, he's not really, you see him struggle with accepting doing criminal stuff, you know what I mean? And the guy, the mastermind who knows all these like techniques and stuff, he really sees potential in him and wants him to work for him. So he's kind of like, there's like this little mentorship kind of thing, but it's really interesting. I can't wait to read more of it. I can't say whether I recommend it or not, but it's Fukumoto, so it's something that is just like, I'm gonna read no matter what. Another Fukumoto one that I would probably recommend is The Legend of the Strongest Kurosawa. That one does kind of deal with mature stuff, just the same typical, it's a good seinen, but it's a little bit more, it's not that technical, I guess. It just kind of deals a little bit more with the struggles of middle-aged men as they reach this point in their life where, they don't find fulfillment and stuff like that. Anyways, that's it for Gin to Kin. So next up is Komi Can't Communicate. So this is one that, watching a lot of manga content on YouTube, I would see this a lot in collections, and people would constantly recommend this. And, I was a little bit worried that it was going to be a little bit too overhyped, or I would just have a negative reception of it, the way I had it with Quintessential Quintuplets that was constantly talked about as well. Komi Can't Communicate has not disappointed. It's just so interesting and fun, and the art style itself is really great. If you haven't heard of it already, it's about this girl who basically has problems with communicating, just social, like hyper social awkwardness, like to the extreme that she just cannot talk at all or interact with people. And the main character, who I really love the main character and the way the mangaka kind of goes into him and the way he kind of creates his character profile. There's a part in the beginning that kind of just lists things that he has done throughout his life or something, and it was pretty funny. But this character is kind of, he's socially aware, like he can pick up things in people, and he's not socially awkward at all, not the way Komi is, who has that issue. He was kind of one of the very first people to recognize that, Komi isn't being standoffish, or she's not being a jerk, she's just actually socially awkward. It's interesting to see how these two qualities come together, and you see their friendship kind of blend. It's very slice of life, very obviously there's romance in it, as well as you imagine, but the characters are just so interesting and well written. It's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of aspects that ring true to real life. Yeah, I'm only 2 volumes in. I've been waiting to just do a haul of this, but I may end up having to just kind of continue from reading scans until I'm able to pick up the physicals, because it seems like these are very sporadic as far as stock goes. I highly recommend this. Even I'm 2 volumes in, but I still definitely recommend checking this one out. It hasn't disappointed at all, and I can't wait to read more. All right, next one is one that you may have heard me talk about in my collection video or in my top manga, and that is Arakawa Under the Bridge. So, this was in my number 10 spot, but I have a suspicion impression that Kaguya-sama Love is War is gonna end up taking that spot, because it's a little bit, I've only watched the anime for it, but to me it feels, as far as a rom-com goes, slice of life, that one feels a little bit more, it just feels better. But Arakawa Under the Bridge is just, it's just amazing. I have been revisiting this, you know, I decided to revisit this. It's been really hard to kind of put down to make time for other stuff that I haven't, you know, gone into yet, but it's really great. I hope I'm not overhyping it, because a lot of people have been picking it up as a result of my recommendation, and I'm kind of worried that they're not gonna like it. But I honestly, you know, why am I gonna lie and act like I don't think this is like so amazing, because it just is to me. And it's just, the comedy is just, it's very my style, and I just love the aspect of the different quirky characters, you know, and this whole relationship between the main character, who's, you know, a part of the real world and normal, so to speak, and here are all these people living on the river, beside the river, and they're just like, they're crazy in their own way, and it's just, it creates the best kind of comedy. It's so funny. And of course there's the aspect of romance between the two main characters that I really enjoy, and that's always kind of like the little anchor that kind of keeps you reading, is seeing that development, seeing where it goes. You know, there's a couple of parts in here that feel a little bit slow, but they don't last too long, and there's not as many as I thought there was going to be. I thought that, you know, the fact that this is slice of life, it's going to have a lot of boring parts. It's mostly just an awesome read. But yeah, Arakawa Under the Bridge, definitely check it out if you're into rom-com and just comedy in general, to be honest with you. Okay, next up is one that I talked about in my last reading log, but I was only in chapter 10 at that time, but it is Chainsaw Man. So I ended up catching up to this, and I caught up in just one night. It was just so good. It was, this is amazing. Honestly, this is, for me personally, 10 out of 10. I can't tell you, just for my personal taste, this just had everything just come together. Just like kind of the little sexual themes, the suits, the way they smoke. It's the most seinen shonen that there is, and it's just awesome. I love it. You know, the action as well is just, it's so good, and I really love the characters in this. They're so awesome. I love the designs for them. The villain, I'm telling you, I haven't felt this with the villain in a long time, where I just hated the villain. Like, I just, ooh, like the mangaka did a good job of instilling that, because I to this day I freaking hate them. I'm not gonna say anything else about the villain, but you gotta read it and check it out. But like I said, this is just 10 out of 10 for me, and if they do a good job with the anime, it's definitely gonna become a crazy hit. You know, right now it's probably one of the most beloved shonen out right now from among manga readers alone. It's just phenomenal. Tatsuki Fujimoto, I applaud you 100%. Bravo. So this next one is not actually out here in America. I don't think it ever will, because it's been out for some time now, and it's kind of a cult classic, I guess you could say. It is called Innocent, and it is by Shinichi Sakamoto. I read the scans online, but I did end up buying some physical copies here, because what's amazing about this manga is that the art is just, it's so amazing, and the way the panels are sometimes, it's just, there are pages where there's just no dialogue and it's just pure art, and it's some of the most amazing art I've ever seen. The story itself, I mean, is very dark. It's amazing to see these two qualities come together. It reminds me a lot of the Castlevania art by, I believe her name is Ayame Kojima. It's kind of like this romantic gothic style of like this, like, you know, beautiful artwork mixed with these dark themes, right? And this is 100% that style, except this mangaka Shinichi Sakamoto has his own style for sure. It's just amazing to see his art style with this story and theme, you know, and it really was so amazing to kind of see this type of masterpiece put together, which is just, you know, beautiful artwork mixed with these dark themes, and it was just such an enjoyable read. It was like uncomfortable, yet I couldn't keep my eyes off of it. It was awesome. So this is a semi-historical manga, and it's about an executioner during the French Revolution in, I can't remember what time specifically, but it's during the French Renaissance, right? And it's about a guy named Charles Henry Sanson, and you basically follow him through his life as a young boy being brought into this dynasty of executioners, which is all true, and seeing him kind of develop. It's just an amazing read, and this has been a great read to read during Pride Month, because not only is there kind of like homoerotic themes to this, as well as like gender flipping and stuff like that, just very minorly throughout the series. I wouldn't call this like a yaoi or anything like that. It's amazing the way it kind of speaks to this tragedy, I guess, that a lot of people experience nowadays, where they're kind of growing up to, you know, with this desire to be something else that they cannot be because of traditional forms that are that rule our society today. You know, and throughout the series, you see different characters for different reasons revolt against tradition, and it really does relate to the setting and the time, which is the French Revolution. And it also talks about, you know, the aristocracy and the caste system that was kind of going on at the time with the peasants and stuff. That goes into that too. There's a lot of stuff that is relevant to the LGBTQ community, which is really interesting to see. But all in all, I mean, it's relatively short. I mean, the way the story is told is not really conventional. It's a quick read. There's only 9 volumes, and you're not gonna get a too deep look into these characters and their relationships and the way things progress. There's a lot of like time skips, like a lot of them, you know, but it doesn't really deter from what's going on. It for whatever reason feels appropriate. It's almost like this, like, I don't know, like you're looking through a journal or something. It's kind of hard to explain, but nevertheless, I mean, you know, I've been sitting and thinking for a while, like, is this a masterpiece? Is this a masterpiece? And you know, I think it might be. I mean, just alone from the art and the way the mangaka really just kind of puts things together, it's fantastic. You know, it's definitely one of a kind. It's really definitely my style. You know, I can see a lot of people not liking this, but I love it. And of course I had to pick up the physicals. There's a sequel to it, which I think is 12 volumes, so I need to get into reading that soon. But this mangaka also has another manga that I first heard of before hearing about Innocent. I had seen pages and screenshots and stuff of Innocent because the artwork is so cool. But the other manga that this mangaka wrote is called The Climber, which is about this climber who's obsessed. And basically, I mean, I don't know too much about it, but I just know there's bouldering, but there's also outdoor climbing as well in it, which I can't wait to read that, because I'm a rock climber, and I don't rock climb a lot outdoors, but I have, and I do love the outdoors and stuff and the adventures. I'm like super into that, so I can't wait to read that. But yeah, this is, I don't know what I give it out of 10. I think right now maybe like a 9.5 out of 10, but there's a chance that as I kind of sit with it for a while, it might be a 10 out of 10. I'd probably have to revisit it and kind of judge it on that respect, but I definitely recommend checking this one out, Innocent. All right, on to the last series, and that is Black Clover. So I finally caught up to this. Man, this is amazing. I mean, you may have heard me talk about this already in my manga collection video, but this has just been a fantastic read, and I regret starting this and having been anime only for 80 episodes. It's just, I'm probably gonna go back and reread the beginning again, just because the artwork on this is just so amazing and so awesome. From the very get-go, the anime itself got a lot of criticism because of the voice acting, but that never even really bothered me. Either way, I mean, how can you really trash this series, like, at all, to be honest with you? Like, people say just because it deals with generic shonen stuff. I mean, that's just the nature of shonen and manga. You have to use these tropes and these themes. Obviously, you can execute them differently, but Black Clover executed them so well, and the artwork is just fantastic. There's just so many satisfying moments. There's so many things about it that just makes it such an enjoyable read, page after page, and it's very hard for a lot of series nowadays. Like, I wouldn't even, like, I'm a huge fan of Demon Slayer, but I wouldn't even say that about Demon Slayer, to be honest. Like I would say I probably like Demon Slayer more than Black Clover, but on an objective level, Black Clover is just like, man, like, Demon Slayer doesn't even do what Black Clover does, where it's just like, it's just so polished, and it's just a great work of art, to be honest with you. That's what I believe. I cannot wait to read more of it. I cannot wait to continue. There's so many characters that I love in the series, and I mean, I honestly can go on forever about it, but I definitely check it out on the Shonen Jump app. I recommend going physical, to be honest with you, because the volumes and the art is it comes off really great on physical. Usually I'm so used to scans that I don't really mind too much, but in this instance, at one point I had to go from the volumes to the Shonen Jump app, and I was just like, oh, it's not as good. Like I said, definitely recommended, and I can't wait to read more. But that's pretty much it. That's all that I have for this reading log for now. I'm reading a ton of stuff for the next reading log. Like, I'm gonna have to try to just like narrow it down, because I had to exclude a lot of stuff in this reading log just because I was like, it's gonna be too long, and they're probably a little bit more well suited for the next reading log once I have read more of it. But who knows, I may continue reading Gintokin, and I may talk about it more in the next one, but I'll likely talk about it a few reading logs down. I'm kind of reading a little bit slow. Nevertheless, I did want to include that one in this reading log just to kind of see what your guys' thoughts are on it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how many of you guys really like some of these more mature mangas. You know, a lot of people have enjoyed Kaiji, which, you know, it is mature. It's definitely more catered to an open audience, I guess you could say. You know, there's a lot of suspense in it, and it doesn't go too deep into kind of the technical aspects of finance and all that. But yeah, other than that, guys, let me know what you guys have been reading this month. Give me some recommendations. You know, have you read some of these in this reading log here? What do you think? Like, what do you think about Black Clover? What do you give Black Clover? I don't know what I give it yet. It's either a high 8 or solid 9 in my opinion. But what about Chainsaw Man? I know a lot of people don't really like Chainsaw Man, but to me, dude, to me it's a no-brainer. 10 out of 10. I don't know if you guys can agree with that or not. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. But yeah, anyways, guys, that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, definitely leave a like. I got a ton of different stuff coming up. I have a shopping vlog video as well as that roast video where I look at your guys' anime lists. I got a huge manga haul. I don't know if you can see here, just a ton of stuff that I have to unbox. And I also have that Attack on Titan leather binding that I'm gonna do, but that one's gonna take a little bit of a while because I definitely don't want to screw things up. I want to make sure I have everything perfect. I have a game plan, and I'm still kind of working it out right now because the mistakes, if I make any mistakes, it's gonna be very, very costly. And aside from that, I just want to make a really, really good, as best as I possibly can, you know, a really good binding for that, something that you guys would enjoy to make you excited to kind of work on your own bindings and stuff like that. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.